Okay, welcome back to Violent Money TV. Today, I am joined by Lewis Long, who returns to take on Stevie Ray in the main event of PFL Europe 3 on September 28th in Glasgow. And I mean, to just kick things off, it's been a while since people have seen you. So, how are you doing? And how did this whole thing come together? This whole opportunity to compete on this card in PFL?
It's been about a year since I had a fight, about just over a year. I've had a few contracts offered to me, but I held off because I believe that I was worth more. I had a few conversations with Dan about fights, and nothing sort of come to fruition. But we held off and held off, and it's paid off now. That little bit of a wait. Um, so yeah, it just means I'm really excited to get back. It I never have time off really. I don't have always training, but now I just really got the excitement back for it.
Yeah, I mean, from my own perspective, when I first started doing MMA journalism to any kind of degree, right? When I first started doing stuff for Cage Warriors, at that point, I remember I think you were in Cage Warriors at the time, but you maybe like were on the way out of that promotion when I first started doing stuff with them. And so, I remember following the Bellator career and stuff, but I remember you saying during the last couple of fights with Bellator that until the Bellator stuff came around, you were like kind of semi-retired at that point
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I I don't. The reality is, you got to ask yourself: do you need to fight? No, I don't need to. I set myself up with the gym. Family's good. My life are good. I don't need to fight. So it's never been for the money. But back then, um, I wasn't getting what I was worth. Now still not about the money, but now I got the opportunity to fight. Stevie Ray headlining, PFL in Glasgow, which I'm gonna show is where I belong. He's at the top of the bill, kicking ass and fucking taking names, like.
Yeah, what do you think it is that, like, I suppose, like you said then about just making the right decisions for yourself at the time, but in terms of the competition and stuff like that, like this is a fight that we definitely could have seen back when you were still more active in Bellator and Cage Wars and stuff, like in terms of just the European scene. That's this fight with Stevie Ray is a fight that I feel like we could have seen back then, and maybe there is an element, like you said there, of proving that this is the level that you should have been fighting at the whole time, being in these big fights and stuff like that, main events, whatever. What do you think is the thing maybe that held that back from happening back when you were kind of constantly active before these kind of
Fucking
breaks?
losing.
Well, when you put it
No,
like
I went on a spree, with mainly first round submissions when Cage Warriors were on a bit of a hiatus, so I didn't get the exposure that I would have because I was fighting all Cage Warriors and European level vets when I went back to welterweight many years ago. So I didn't sort of get that exposure with that, but yeah, it's time to come back and time to you know show what the footlong's got.
obviously in that time, like you said, you already mentioned about the gym, Matt Academy Wales, constantly see, not only your own posts, but guys from the gym doing well in promotions, all over the place in the UK. Like, what has that been like to kind of transition to that, but then to come back as a fighter? Because not many people have the experience of going to be a coach, but then either maintaining the career or kind of diving back into the career in this case.
Well, if a little story about the Matt Academy. Now, how did the Matt Academy start? Well, I created it myself 14 years ago because there was no MMA. I had to I had to put all the components together. I had to find good coaches. I was traveling everywhere. You travel, you rely on other people. Sparring partners wouldn't show up. Yada yada yada. So I thought, fuck it, build it, and they will come. So um, I paid, brought in coaches, paid my coaches through the class tuition fees. Never really taken anything from running the gym up until the last few years. Because of course it's been quite a niche thing, and now it's only really now in the limelight. So for years, I have to supplement my earning with working, sort of thing. But now I can, say, pay myself through the gym, and I've And I support, and what's the beauty of it is I support my fighters. You know, the gym will pay for the petrol. You know, if we need an extra hotel for a night, you know, the gym will pay for that. You know, so I've given them the support as well through that I've never had.
Does it
But yeah,
add
I've always
like,
been a coach. You know, I've done it for years. I've always enjoyed coaching and breaking down my own technique because it shows you understand it.
does it change the mentality a little bit now that you've got, like, obviously, like you said, you were still kind of having to make ends meet when you were in your more active part of your career, working other jobs and things like that. A lot of fighters do that, you know, throughout the majority of their careers, if not the
Yeah, yeah.
entire career, right? But now that you've got this gym and it's doing well and you're able to have that as a living, does it change your mentality as a fighter and being like, one, I haven't got to, you know, go and do a job that I don't want to be doing because you've managed to make a job out of your career in martial arts, which is fantastic. But also, you know, there is already a plan B. You know, if for whatever reason, I'm excited for this fight. I can't wait to watch it. If this fight didn't ever come around, you didn't get offered that, you've still got the gym. That doesn't change, right?
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it's like, you know, I've you know, I remember being a kid and I'm doing a kickboxing class, and then my friends would come over and I'd be holding a pillow, saying, "I'll kick it like this," you know, in my house, like, you know. So it's always been it's always been now, just the word, it's always been my. Yeah, I'm always going to be in it, you know. It's always going to be my life. It's always meant to be my life, and I love it. And the thing is, now I treat it like a job. You know, but when it comes to a fight now, my own fight, I've got to be a bit more selfish. I still give the guys my time, but when it's my time, it's my time, you know. And again, as I said, I treat it like a job. I sit down and research the boys' opponents. I, you know, speak to managers, speak to different promotions to see where we can get, you know, the best fights, etc. You know, so even though I don't have to sort of work so much anymore, I treat it as work.
Is it a little bit crazy doing all of that for other fighters compared to when you were at that stage in your career and what things were like then? Like, I'm sure Stevie Ray, again, as a veteran of the UK scene, will have stories that are similar to that, which I think is part of the reason why this fight is so good. The fact that you guys are coming together after all this time, and it's like, yeah, how I was surprised when it got announced. I was like, I feel like I've seen that fight already because it just feels like you guys would have crossed paths, but to be in that coaching role now, and like you said, you had to build that place in order for it to exist. No one else was going to do that at that time for you in
Yeah.
your career. It must be jarring to some degree.
Well, it's fucking mental, right? I got a family. I got a, I do PT, I do PTs. I run the gym. I manage the fighters. You know, I do so much. You know, I'm busy all the time, flat out. I don't know how I do it, but you know, I love it. Like, you know, it's I don't, yeah, my time is hard. You know, with a family as well. You know, they you know, fair play to them. Like they've got to take I got to take a step back from them. Um, but yeah, but I juggle a lot of plates, like, you know, it's and I love it. I think I'm a bit of a stress head, but I think a lot of that's good for you. You know, it's all about, you know, when they say all these fucking inspirational things. How much can you burn? And you know, and I carry the weight for a lot of people, like, but but what it's made me realize is I'm really poor at life. Like, I'm really bad at the mundanity of things, and it sends me crazy. It sends me crazy with boredom. I gotta do something. Fucking Saturday, I was painting the gym at 7 o'clock in the night, broke the shutter, made a makeshift ladder, almost fell off it, you know. So I struggle with just the mundanity of life. I find it so fucking boring. It sends me crazy. But a fight, that's easy. That's easy. It's just what I want to do. It's what I live for. It gives me a sense of purpose and meaning. You know, it's yeah. I don't know if that's mad, you know, but yeah.
I went back and watched your the last interviews that you did after the last Bellator fight, right? Just to see kind of where you were at with your career at that point, what kind of stuff was on your mind. And you spoke after that fight, which was another first round finish, about how it was a really big focus in that fight of you to be more patient, and it was something you were drilling in the locker room constantly before going out, just because you knew that there's a good chance that you're going to go in there and immediately go, right, I'm putting my foot to the floor. I'm not going to be patient. So there's a real like effort to do that and stick to that game plan. Do you think that's changed at all being a coach and having to be a bit more analytical? Or do you think when you get back in there, it's going to be like, just immediately flick that switch? I'm back. Let's go.
Yeah, I flick a switch. I'm back. I can. I could honestly warm up with the person I'm fighting, then still go in there and fight as hard as I could. So the switch is there, you know. I think I'm not a psychopath or anything, but like it doesn't matter to me. It's a game. It's a job. It's a fight. And I'll do whatever I need to do when I get in that cage. But everything outside it is fine. But what it does, it gives me an insight into when I'm teaching my students, like. And I say to them, be a bit more patient, sit back, relax. I see myself in a lot of my students. Okay. I see, what I mean? I see like I'm ADHD, overwork, and a lot of good positives because you see how many first round submissions I get. But at the same time, Stevie's not one of these people I'm going to go in and just walk through or just blow through. So I have to be a little bit more sturdy, steadfast, and relaxed, rather than just going, let's fucking go.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I'm sure the Glasgow fans would love that, but I feel like for people that have watched both you and Stevie for a long time, the grappling exchanges is like equally as exciting because of how well known you guys are for submitting opponents, which I feel like especially for people that are super into like the UK and European MMA scene, you don't get a ton of guys. You definitely get it more now than you did even like 5 years ago. But people from the UK scene that are known for submitting people from all over the world. And so to have you and Stevie there as kind of two of the outliers, I would say, at that time, who were really known for that. How do you think that matches up? Do you think there's a good chance that we're going to see some grappling from you guys?
Yeah, I mean, if someone put up a stats of how many submission wins we've had, and it's so fucking mental. But that's why this fight's come about, is because stylistically, it's going to be a spectacle of sort of the physicality and technical grappling, because obviously both strong, fit lads. They'll be in the game a long time. There's going to be a lot of figuring each other out. A lot of those grappling exchanges. Who goes first, who doesn't. I mean, reality for the British scene. It's a big fight. Like it's really exciting to see. Who does what and how they do it. Because Stevie's pulled off some fucking amazing submissions. In fairness to him, like, but will he catch me? No, he won't. I don't believe.
I think that's the
that's the
perfect
game, isn't
agenda.
it?
Yeah. I think you said it all, man. Yeah, I appreciate your time, Lou. It's wicked to see you back, and I'm glad that waiting for the right opportunity that you felt was, properly worth not only your time but value. I'm glad that came around for you at this stage. Because I'm sure there's a lot of fighters who probably have had similar experiences, and for whatever reason, it's just not worked out. But
oh man,
for whatever reason, here we are.
Yeah, we fucking are. Don't forget, drink Stella, bang bitches.
Nice one, man. I appreciate your time, man.
Cheers, man. Catch you soon.
Yeah, you too. See ya.